Motorsports and racing cars is a big part of the heritage here at G-Stone Motors. Todd and I have been racing each other for years. I love the one-on-one competition. It comes bottom line, we're all behind each other and support each other with everything we do. I think that says a lot about our company's culture. I'm Vince Quinville, Service Manager at G-Stone Motors.
G-Stone Motors, your family Ford dealership, Route 7 South, Middlebury, Vermont.
Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're here tonight with the 802 Cup Series here at the Michigan International Speedway. It's going to be a great night of racing here with this Gen 7 Cup Series cars. We've been making our way through the season here. It's been a fun time up here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But again, thank you all for tuning in here as it is the 802 Cup Series taking on the Michigan International Speedway. Up here in the booth, joined alongside myself, Zach Hall. It's going to be Brian Johnson, and we're going to have also our producer, Robert Moyer Jr. up here showing you all the sights and sounds here from the Michigan International Speedway. But Brian, back here again with the 802 Cup Series, my friend. 100 laps, but the big thing we got to always think about here, 60% fuel load and only 2 sets of tires in pit road. It's going to be a tricky one, but first, let's pull up this grid and see how this field lines up here as we've already got lined up on pit road. It's going to be Johnny Barker there in the 6 machine leading his way here on pole position, along with Keith falling in the 24 machine there in second. Third is going to go to Jason Wiley. Fourth is going to be the 21 of Rob Lowell. Fifth is going to be David Lamaga. Sixth is Gene Cato. Seventh is going to be the 41 of Marty Brown. Eighth, Wayne Dewey. Ninth position going to go to the 99 of Jeff Barefoot. 10th is going to be Art Greco. And the last 2 cars on the field in the 11th and 12th positions going to go to Zach Scott and Mike Killenbeck. But Brian, like I said, back here at the 802 Cup Series, my friend. And it's going to be an interesting one tonight with the strategies that play out. Kind of similar to what we've seen earlier in the season in Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely, Zach. And, the other thing you got to think about, with those 2 tires is the 60% fuel load. But Michigan and, Auto Club, Indianapolis, those larger tracks are known to be fuel mileage races. And, that's with a 100% tank. So, making that fuel tank smaller on these cars with only 60% fuel allowed is really going to open the door to a lot of talking points about, fuel economy tonight and just kind of the overall strategy, because the last time we had a race where there was only 2 tires on pit road, we were pretty much clueless up here as to which driver was going to be able to come out on top. So tonight's going to be very interesting from that aspect.
Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting aspect to see how this all played out. But we didn't get word on the competition caution here, so we're not sure when that will come tonight. We know they usually have one, so we'll see how that plays out here. It's going to be a little bit of a shake-up here for us up in the booth, as we'll see when that untimely caution will come out. But it's going to be the pace car pulling off down the pit road as we got 100 laps here to do battle in the Irish Hills. It's going to be Johnny Barker, though, leading us into the Geico restart zone as the green flag waves. We're off and away as they cross the start-finish line. Fallen's taking a nose ahead here, heading down to turn 1.
Yeah, side by side still as they go to turn 1. It's kind of a long way from the start finish line to turn 1, but here we are, turn 1 and 2, and looks like right now inside lane and that outside lane up there fairly even.
The lanes looking very, very close as they head down the back straightaway. It's getting a little bit dicey there for that 5th position on back. We'll have to see how that draft plays out, Brian. I think that's one of the things that logically in my head is saying, here at Michigan, we've seen in the past here with the Gen 6 car, especially the previous packages we've had, it has been very draft heavy. Here right now, we're seeing a little bit of gaps formed up. I think that's something we'll have to see, but there's a battle for the lead right now. The 13 of Jason Wiley going to the inside of the 6 machine up front.
Yeah, Jason had a great exit coming off of 4, had a lot of momentum on the front stretch, able to suck up behind the 6 of Johnny Barker and able to complete this pass coming out of 2.
Great move from the 13 machine there, but back behind him, you're seeing a little bit of action for him, and it's the 21 of Rob Lowell. That 24, or sorry, the 24 keep falling back there throughout this field. But man, it's stacking up, and these drivers on that outside line dropping backwards as the inside looks like the place to go. Is the question is who's saving tires too? We've seen in this recent build, tire saving has been a huge factor. We'll see who's playing the games of saving their tires versus using up those tires as Wiley looks to build his lead up front.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're seeing out of the 24 of Keith Ballin right now is that he's electing to kind of super save his tires right now. He's hoping for green flag runs up until that competition caution. So I'd expect here in about 20 laps, we'll start seeing him kind of make his way back to the front as the six of Johnny Barker. He kind of pulled off to the inside on the backstretch, and he's all the way in the back now. So I wonder what that was about.
Yeah, very interesting to see there as he's dropping still back. We hop back up towards this front of the field. You're seeing Zach Scott in the 43 drive by the 21 there of Lowell for the third position. But yeah, very interesting to see our pole setter just immediately dropping back like that. Went back and checked it out, and nothing clearly happened. Just drove into the corner, washed up the racetrack, and kind of slowed down the back straightaway. So I don't know if he's having some type of technical issue on his side. That's very possible.
Yeah, he's going down the backstretch right now, entering three at 165 miles an hour. So definitely off pace. I don't know if it's depending on where the competition caution is, if he's like super saving fuel, but yeah, very strange. But back up towards up front here, we got second through six right on top of each other.
Yeah, these guys right here, looking possibly to save some tire. I think just side by side though, that could possibly be using a little bit up. As Art Greco here is up on this outer groove behind the 21 and that 11 machine of Wayne Dewey up top. You're going to also have Killenbeck coming down low as we ride on board with him here on this inside lane. You used to watch that battle there between Lowell and Dewey there for the fourth and fifth position. There's even a battle starting to happen for the lead. It looks like Lamaga in the 34, he's caught up to the 13 of Wiley, and he's going to be going to the lead here up front.
And we've seen, Lamanga so far this season where he can, take care of those tires fairly consistently. You don't, he doesn't have to, super save those tires to make them last throughout the whole run. He's just, kind of figured out his pace and how to go fast and still save those tires. So, good to see him back up front and kind of, continuing that as the season goes on.
Lamaga building that gap right now as he crosses the line to complete lap number 6 here of 100 circuits here at the Michigan International Speedway. And, I got to say, Brian, it does bring a little bit of smile to my face to see these cars hitting 195, almost 196 down the front straightaway, heading off into one here without draft. I mean, that's really cool to see, some pretty high speeds here at the Michigan International Speedway because we're used to back in the day hitting upwards of 218, 214 heading into that corner. So it's definitely pulling a little bit back more towards that era as we look back through the field here. And it's a track that I've always been very interested in, watching because it builds for strategy. And I think that's why we're going to see a good little bit of spacing out here and some guys playing a little bit of a different game.
Yeah, well, what puts a bigger smile on my face, Zach, is the fact that you can have a guy running behind you, maybe 2-3 car lengths, and on the straight, he doesn't, get that gigantic run from the draft and able to slingshot by you. These cars with this aero package got rid of that, kind of overpowered draft on the straights. So, that's really good to see. You don't have to constantly try to defend your position from the guy behind you. You can really kind of focus on yourself and focus on having good entries and exits and saving tires. So, it's a lot more or less stressful on these drivers here at Michigan now with this new car.
Watching this group here still battle back here for position, and really, it's from that third position on back, and we're seeing a few guys start to make runs up here, possibly saving some tire.
Yeah, you've got guys at the back like Gene Cato's starting to make his way up to the front a little bit. But Rob Lowell, he's kind of falling back in ninth. But as we've seen all season, I'm sure that's definitely a tire saving strategy that he's got going on. And same with Jeff Barefoot and Keith Fallon. Just kind of maintaining that slower pace, waiting to pick it up once these guys up towards the front, especially not only are these guys up front running faster and wearing out their tires like that, but they're also racing each other, which can also be fairly taxing on these tires.
Yeah, this is extreme tire saving from a few of these guys. And last week's winner, the 24, Keith Fallon, he started second. He is now back in 11th, 9.5 seconds back. And I think this is very interesting to see. Right now, still the pace about a half a second slower than our leader up front, but I'd be interested to see if those tires come back around. I mean, we've seen with this build, it can be extremes amounts of different speed when you save tires like this, but you never know here. I think this is a great time to play it, though, because they most likely will have that competition caution at some point to help at least bring them back and know if that strategy is going to work for later or not.
Yeah, it's like I've said at all of these races, with that competition caution coming out and it not really being a stage. So when that caution comes out, you don't have to worry about your position because there's no stage points awarded. So that really kind of opens the door for all these guys to try different things. If they have a something that they want to try out and they're not sure if it's going to work out, better do it at the beginning of the race than the end, because then. You never know. You might make some notes and have something in your pocket for later. As going on the front stretch, just saw the 8 and the 13 door each other a little bit there.
Oh, they're gonna make a little contact into the corner up ahead of these guys too. The 8 up into that 13, or sorry, the 43 is Scott there for that second position. And that right there, Scott gets away, but Cato going to be dropping back in the 8th, and he's actually going to pull a little bit low here and let this group go by, it looks like. So Cato here possibly struggling a little bit there with a little bit of that hit, but now seems to be getting back up the speed well, as this group here has been really where most of the energy and battles have been forming.
And you can see what happened with that 8 car, got into the 43 there a little bit, but really had to get out of it. And, you could see just how much momentum he lost, even though we do have, quite a bit of horsepower and, hitting, 190, 195 on the straights. This still is a little bit of a momentum-based track in the corners and, lost a lot of ground by having to really get out of it.
A lot of ground being given up. There's that 6 machine there. It's not the 6 though on the races. That's our pulsar, Johnny Barker, back in that 22nd position, who's still dropping back. So not the 6 car on the screen, but definitely a little bit of a shake up there for us. But these guys still all right in this group, riding here in line, and it's really tough to see who's going to come out of this in the right position, Brian. It's a definite cat and mouse game sometimes out here with the saving of tires. We know that group back there low and barefoot and falling, they've definitely been major saving, but they're really not even making inroads. They're still losing time to Lamaga up front. So it is only 14 laps in, but I mean the question is they got to know when knowing that competition caution is, and they got to know when to go because that gap is so huge.
Yeah, looking at the lap times, last time by our leader, David Lamaga, was running a 41.7. This time by, he just ran a 41.68. And Rob Lowell, he's crossing the line right now, and he ran a 42 200 essentially. So still about half a second off. And, right about this time in the run, I would kind of expect if you're saving tires for these lap times to kind of even out. But maybe they're still saving and really going to push hard at the end. But yeah, kind of unusual to still be this much off pace this far into the run.
As we're riding on board here, we're getting to see a little bit of this action and what these drivers are doing. A little bit of different lines from everybody. Nobody's really, I haven't seen really one dominant line. I would say it's mostly that second groove that normally here at Michigan you look to run, but I have seen a few guys going up top here, and that's exactly what's going on here. It looks like it's going to get past actually. They're about at 70 at Killenbeck going by as there's the one of our Greco goes by also. That's going to be another position loss for the 13 of Wiley, who, remember, he stormed up to the lead. Now going to be all the way back to the 7th position, showing those tires age, and Marty Brown behind him in the 41 going to be looking to take that position also.
Yeah, I think when he went up to the lead, he used up a lot of tire there, and then when he was in the lead trying to drive away from everybody, really heated up those tires. And the problem with doing that at Michigan is that these corners are so long. That's a lot of time for those loads to be on the right sides, and well, really now the left rear of this car as well. All 3 of those tires wear now, so yeah, really got to maintain. That tire wear, and one of the things you can do to help you do that is with the line you're running. So you can see 13's running high, so that maybe he's got a little bit excessive right front wear, so he's hoping that if he can ride up there, that tire wear is going to even out. But everybody else seems like to be about the first, second, and third lanes, but he's way up there.
I think it's got a little bit of a case of just the tire wear. He just can't keep it down there, so seems to be dropping back pretty quickly there as we look from the back deck lid onto Gene Cato there from Zach Scott in the 43 from the second position, who, these two running in second and third right now. But Lamaga up front continuing to build that gap. Got to say, great for him there, opening up about a 2.1 second gap. And still, the guys that have been saving tire, they're still running upwards of a second off. I mean, I got to be wondering if they're saving fuel, Brian, even. I mean, maybe they know the competition caution is right outside that zone, because remember, a 60% fuel load, these guys are not going to be able to go too much longer than 25 laps, I believe.
Yeah, I think roughly you can get roughly around maybe 40 laps on a full tank, so 60%. Yeah, you're looking right around maybe 25 to 28 laps. So, yeah, I think you're exactly right, Zach, because like I said, with if you were saving tires and that was the only thing you were saving, you'd equal out on lap times by now. But yeah, I think with them maintaining that slower speed and actually even getting slower, fuel is definitely on their mind.
It very well could be what is the thought process going through a lot of these drivers dropping back. As we look at the 41, Marty Brown there in the bright highlighter yellow car there up ahead of him. You're going to have Kellenbeck trying to hold off Art Greco in that one machine, who's been making a storm and charge. Both these drivers up from the 10th and 12th starting positions, along with Scott up the second from 11th. These guys up here in the top five have made some big moves, but Marty Brown now in that bright yellow car there making a big run down the back straightaway. He might look here to make someone Greco, but it's going to decide otherwise, as Greco was trying to make the pass on Killenbeck. It slowed him up, though.
And you can see it looks like these guys are running a bit of a higher lane in 3 and 4 than they are in 1 and 2. With the way this track is shaped, it's more like a D shape, so the back stretch is a straight line, but the front stretch has got a little bit of a curve to it. So that exit of 4 is a little bit different than the exit of 2. And so I think that's why, you're seeing them ride maybe half a lane higher in 3 and 4.
As this battle continues on down the back straightaway, Greco trying to make something happen there, as Killenbeck still hanging on to the door of that one machine. It's been a great battle to watch there for that 4th and 5th position. It's Brown behind him saying he's trying to take advantage of it here. But Greco stays low there on the corner exit, and that's just really killing his speed there. And he's got to drop back in line there with Killenbeck. And that just shows that one, he's able to get to the inside, but just not got the run off, able to carry the speed down the straightaway.
Yeah, at this 2-mile track, here and at Auto Club, it's very important to have really good exits, because these straightaways last forever. So, if you're sacrificing even just 1 or 2 miles an hour, with as long as the straight is, you could lose maybe 2-3 car lengths just based off of, a sub-average exit.
And here we go, Marty Brown with that great exit there off of 2. He's going to try to make a move here on Greco, but it looks like, again, the momentum going to shift back to the one's hands on the outside there. Brown going to have to slot back in, but it was really off of 1 and 2 here, where the 70 almost got up into the wall. Same for the 1. That's where it gave Marty Brown this run. We'll see this time as everybody pushing the groove there up to that 3rd lane. They also got the 11 of Dewey there coming in the picture behind him there. He's going to be trying to make his way up, and that's the car that actually is the 6th machine here. That isn't the 6th in service. So the 11 away Dewey in the wrong car number there. But look at these 3 up top there. That's flirting with disaster there, Brian.
Yeah, that's definitely a little bit nerve-wracking. Way up near the wall, it doesn't leave you a lot of room to have a mistake. And that's gonna let the 1 get underneath the 70 of Killenbeck again. We'll see if he can make it work this time, but he's gonna have to have a really good exit coming out of 2, and it doesn't look like it's gonna be enough, as that outside lane just has too much momentum right now.
Too much momentum indeed. Is that 70 has just been fighting and clawing, holding off this 1 and this 41, who have been trying to get their way around. And I talked about Scott and Cato. They were losing ground to Lamaga up front. Well, that gap is starting to go the other way now. It looks like Scott and Cato are starting to run him down, but I think the 8 machine is going to be the one to watch out for. He is very well driven up to the back bumper of Scott as they both driven up closer to the 34.
Yeah, I was checking in on the lap times with Umaga and Rob Lowell back there, and Lowell's starting to run quicker lap times as we've got a caution somewhere on the track that may be our competition caution.
And that, I believe, is it, Brian. Yes, that indeed is the competition caution there on lap 25. So a quarter of the way through here, they're going to throw the competition caution. Since they're going to be going here under caution here at Michigan, we're going to head to a quick commercial break here at at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as we'll be right back. You ain't going to want to miss any of this action here at Michigan.
Drivers, start your engines! 4, 3, 2, 1, green screen. I have no rear grip whatsoever. I'm sideways. Sideways everywhere. Come on, man. Do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
we're back here, folks, at the 802 Cup Series. As you can see, they've gone green. Things are getting a little wild. Me and Brian talked about a little bit up here in the booth, a little bit about how all this is going to play out. We now figured out again that competition caution that they didn't want to take tires because only having 2 sets of tires in pit road here, they just wanted to get fuel. That's why that group was saving back there. Now they're probably going to be looking to make their charge. Rob Lowell, the first one there, as he's charging up through the 21. But I tell you what, Scott in the 43, he's doing a great job there, not allowing these guys too much to get away here. But Lamaga out front really opening the gap.
Yeah, it's funny, Zach. We were guessing that whole run. Well, are they just saving tires, and then we'll see them come back up through the front? No. Or they must be saving fuel because it's going to be close to the stage. Well, or the competition caution. Well, no, that's not the case either. The case is that just a low tire count on pit road. So not only are those guys keeping their competitors guessing, but they're keeping us guessing up here in the booth as well. So it'll be interesting to see if saving those tires and having that extra set on pit road compared to everybody else is going to help them as this race goes on. But right now Rob Lowell in third place there, sitting pretty and making a little bit of headway onto these leaders who are racing side by side right now.
Yeah, and I can tell you why that 43 is rocketing to the front. That's because the 43 just took tires. He decided this was the stop. He wanted to take the tires. So now 75 laps in this race. He's only got 1 set of tires left with a 60% fuel load. Going to have to make multiple pit stops to get there. But Scott taking the lead here, wanting to get away with the fresh tires. He's going to have to try the best to make those things last. But right now, he's going to be definitely the fastest car in the field. As Lowell going to be trying to charge up here to Lamaga now in that 21 as he saved plenty in that 21 machine. I also imagine the 24 Keith Fallen as he's starting to make his way up through past the 13 of Jason Wiley. And I also imagine Johnny Barker in the 6, he should probably be looking to make his way up to how far he dropped back.
Yeah, he is. Of those 3 cars, Rob Lowell's sitting in third. He's definitely going the fastest of these guys right now. Keith Fallen right behind him in fourth, and then Johnny Barker riding in seventh. So I think Johnny's still trying to be a little bit conservative with those things, trying to make them last as long as they can.
The question is for me, Brian, if you're Scott out front on this new set of tires, it looks like to me he's kind of backed the pace up since he's got the lead. Do you back the pace up and save, or do you just try to use the tires, go forward and try to build as big a gap as possible? I think that's going to be the big question in my mind is, do you want to build a gap or do you want to save? I mean, either way, it's going to be tough to hold off this group here with 2 sets of tires.
Well, the thing about it is, Zach, is that, these guys, like Rob right there, he hasn't taken tires yet, so he is going to be slower than you on this run. So, I think you really got to push and try to build that gap right now, even though it's going to burn your stuff up because, everybody still has to pit at some point, or maybe even multiple times, I think. So, I think while you have the fresher tires, you try to build that gap, and then that way you got a little bit of breathing room for, if you make a slight mistake on a green flag pit stop or something. I think in this case right here, you want to try to build the biggest gap possible.
Yeah, and I think that window is going to open up for that next pit stop around lap 50 to 55. Then you'd probably come back down 75, 80. So that is, in my mind, the windows that these guys are going to be looking. So it's going to be a 2-stopper from here, not able to make that 1 stop happen with that 60% fuel load. It's going to definitely put a shakeup into this field. I mean, another thing you got to think of, if you save the tires well enough, when you come down and you get that full tank of fuel there, it's still going to take a while, Brian. Even if you're not taking tires, it's still going to be a long stop to get all that 20 gallons of fuel into that race car. It's actually going to take, I'd say, around 9 to 10 seconds at least.
Yeah, well, that is, the good thing about the 60% fuel load is that, it'll only be, 12 gallons. So, you're looking maybe a little bit shorter than a 4-tire pit stop. So, that's the good news with Zach Scott, and why I think he should push right now is that, one of the 2 stops that he has to make later, he doesn't even have the choice to take tires on one of those. These other guys, if they decide to take tires on both of those stops, one of those stops is going to be, 2, 3, 4 seconds longer, which, even with the faster pace of the tires, you're still losing time.
Yeah, still losing time there it's a tough call. I think this is always an interesting situation these guys have been put into by and Scott now taking those tires has put himself in that predicament of he's got a plan when he wants to do that every single time. As right now he seems to be just trying to manage his stuff here. As looking at lap time wise, he's not ran really anywhere from a 41 and a half here, really the last 5 to 6 laps right there, 41.62, and that's similar to what he was running 5 to 6 laps before the end of a 20 lap run. So I'm definitely seeing some management being shown here by the 43, but like you said, Brian, I think almost you want to open the gap up as much as you possibly can here, because when those guys get tires, they're going to try to open it up on you.
Well, yeah, and depending on how far you can go on 60% fuel, I think you push hard right now. You got that one set on pit road, and next time you pit, you come down, take that set of tires, and then depending on how far you can stretch it, that last pit stop, you may not even have to fill it all the way up to 60%. You maybe, only take the amount of fuel you need to get to the end of the race, which might save you a little bit of time there too.
Well, we're seeing a little bit of switching up throughout the field here now. Looks like Keith Fallen in the 24 last week's winner from Bristol is trying to get by the 34 Lamaga for that 3rd position, but has not been able to do it. Looks like Wiley's back here in the 13. Barker in the 6 has made his way back up. Cato there in the 8 machines up to 7th. Barefoot's made his way up to 8th in front of Killenbeck. So some great drives for a few of these guys as Barker set on pole. Dropped so far back, but he also had an interesting scenario where he dropped back really, really quickly after kind of trying possibly a little bit too hard at the beginning.
Yeah, I think maybe that was just to ensure that he led a couple laps there. I'm not sure whether they have that bonus point, but usually you get a bonus point for leading on the lap. So, maybe pushing hard, making sure you got that point, and then dropping to the back to save those tires for this part of the race as well. But slowly but surely making his way back up to the front, sitting in 6th right now. So I expect we'll see him kind of slowly march forward, but. Talking back up to, the 24 and the 34 of Lamaga and Fallen. Fallen finally figured out a way to get around the 34, and it kind of beat me to it because I was going to talk about, here at Michigan, how long you have to set up a pass for. Sometimes that can take 2 or 3 corners to set that pass up, but, he did it pretty quickly.
You got to give credit to Lamaga. I mean, he went super fast there that first run, and he's hung on pretty well there, only 3.6 seconds back from Scott, who's on new tires. So technically, he's only, from the guys on the same set of tires there behind Rob Lowe and Fallen, he's only about 2 seconds behind that group. So done a really, really good job there to hang on to this machine here as Wiley and Barker continue their battle here on lap 42. But, I feel like perfect time here while we're a little bit spread out throughout the field. Let's give a little bit of a shout out to a few of our sponsors up here at Freaky Fast Broadcast. And first one we'll give a shout out to is ButtKicker, our longest time sponsor here. We've been with them almost since the beginning. You should head on over to ButtKicker.com where you can check out their various products that help immerse you in your simulation. So make sure you go out there, check out ButtKicker.com and check out what they have for you. They got the feel that'll definitely bring your simulation to the next level that you need. Use that discount code FreakyFast20 to get 20% off of any purchase there at ButtKicker.com. Feel what you've been missing. Also want to give a shout out to one of our newest sponsors here. That's Admin Box. That's right. Admin Box with 2 X's there. What is the Admin Box exactly? Well, Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers in league and hosted races. What is the goal for it? It's to make the race control as easy as possible. The admin box connects via USB and features pre-programmed commands for race control, driver's functions such as pit options, LED backlighting with buttons that are highly visible in any situation. Also, they're mounted with a desk or a desk-mounted enclosure, so you can sit it on your desk. So make sure you head on over to adminbox.com there, and that's adminbox with 2 X's and box, and you can use our discount code FFB box with 2 X's there to get that discount code on yourself on your own admin box, and you can have race control at your fingertips. Also, another great sponsor we got here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, that's iRacing iFlag. iRacing iFlag is a 64 LED visual flag system that gives you so much information that you can see valuable out on the racetrack. Not only does it simulate the flags out there on the racetrack, but you can pretty much put anything you want, from your gears to, track maps. You could put literally it can tell you your spotter where a car is left to the right, as you see Lamaga in the background getting into the wall. Maybe he could have used the iRacing iFlag there to stay out of that wall. But yeah, definitely want to head on over to iRacing iFlag and check out their visual flag system. It's the best in the business, and use that promo code FreakyFast2022 to get yourself a discount there. So thank you to iRacing iFlag for being a sponsor here. And last but not least, let's give a sponsor to Advanced Sim Racing, the eBay of sim racing. I mean, you pretty much, they got anything you can want, from racing rigs, the wheels itself. I mean, even down to the pedals and the monitors that you can, or the mounts you can mount your monitors on. So check out Advanced Sim Racing there at advancedsimracing.com. You can use our promo code FreakyFast5 to get 5% off of any ASR branded equipment. So again, like I said, check them out and you will not be disappointed. But thank you to all of our sponsors here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's been a pleasure to have them all on board. But the action here has been picking up on the racetrack as we've had a few guys pit. Looks like Rob Lowell, Johnny Barker, and the 6 have hit pit road.
Yeah, they're hitting pit road here on lap 46. Art Greco in the 1, he pitted on lap 39, so quite a bit earlier than these two guys. But these are the next two in the field to come down, and looks like Rob is going to be taking tires, so finally getting a fresh set on that car.
Fresh set of tires for Rob Lowell there. You heard it from Brian Johnson. It's definitely going to make headway for that 21 machine. The question is, what does the 43 of Zach Scott do? I think this time he's going to probably save the set, especially if he's been saving tires. No reason to take off the set of tires that you saved on here. As you can see there, that 43 getting passed by the one Art Greco to get his lap back after hitting pit road. Still, though, this 43 yet to go down pit road. That was kind of an early stop, I believe, for that 21 and that 6 machine to hit pit road. I figured it would come around that lap 50 marker to try to, break this race down into even parts, but he must feel confident fuel level wise.
Yeah, and, I still like Zach Scott's position where, he doesn't have a set of tires to take on one of these two stops. So, earlier in that run had the fresher tires, so I feel like he's going to go as long as he can. He's going to make this run really, really long, and do the same thing with the next one, so that last pit stop can be as short as possible.
Love to see how that last pit stop plays out. It looks like killing back there in the 70, up a little bit high there in the 70 machine. She's letting guys go by on the fresher tires there. The 6 machine of Barker, as now Barefoot closing in the 99. We'll see what he can do there. So he's going to go to the outside of the 70 here. He's going to be slowing down, trying to possibly look to get the pit road. That's a pass for position now. Move Jeff Barefoot up into the top 5. That's Killenbeck going down the pit road here from the 5th position.
And it looks like he's going to be our only taker this lap. So lone man in the 70 there. Looks like, he should be getting tires this time, Zach, or did he take some tires on that competition caution?
I believe he'll be taking tires this time here, Brian. I don't think he did under that last competition caution. Oh, he's actually going to slide through his box on pit road. So unfortunate for 70 of Killenbeck there, as the 6 of Barker is ahead of Lamaga there in the 34. And Lamaga, I believe he should have took his first set of tires there on pit road. He'll be one to watch out for sure, because he didn't really save tires, and he did not lose a considerable amount of time at all.
Yeah, that's one thing I like seeing out of Lamaga is that he's just got that nice steady pace. He's figured out the pace that he needs to run in order. He's just got that balance of speed and tire saving down, which is really cool to see.
Great tire saving being shown by that 34 machine, no doubt. As you can see the difference there as the tires close in on Cato up in the 8 machine there. As Cato should have actually been down last time by. So yeah, Cato's got his tires on there too, just getting up the temp and That is one thing that's a little bit different for us, Brian. You know, we that first lap we used to think would be that money lap point coming out of pit road, but sometimes pitting a lap earlier than or just that one lap earlier than someone, even though you're not going to undercut them before they come out of pit road, you can get the jump on them with those tires that are up the temp.
Yeah, it's really crazy how much one lap can make a difference when it comes to the speed and the tire heat. Uh, last night at Charlotte, running some practice, that second lap coming out of pit road was like 2, sometimes 3 tenths quicker if you hit it right. So, having a little bit of heat in the tires is definitely a better thing, which makes that undercut even more powerful than it was before.
We'll see. When does Scott come down pit road is my question. At 43, still elected to stay out here. And looking at times, 41.82. Rob Lowell running at 40.248. And what I'm seeing from Lowell is he's not saving like he did before in that very first run of the race. And kind of makes sense. You're only going to go 25 laps here at really even most here. So you might as well push a little bit harder because, you had to stretch those tires there all the way to the lap 45 marker.
Yeah, I think Rob's strategy is that first set of tires, the ones that we start the race on, got to really take care of those, got to really make them last a long time, and then those next 2 sets you can really just kind of beat up on them because you don't have enough fuel to really do a full run. So yeah, I mean, go out there, get the 4 tires on there, and then go out there and just really, run some hot laps. Try to make up that ground that you've been giving up this whole race, and we've seen him make it work before.
Who can make it work is going to be the question, I think, when this all comes down. And kind of similar to Atlanta, I think we're not going to know too much till the possible last run. I mean, it really matters what Scott does. If Scott stretches it far here and takes his tires here, then pits a little bit later on that last stop, then have a quicker pit stop is going to be another question you got to ask. But I mean, there's so many possibilities, I believe, here that could play out that we're going to have to find out. It looks like the 99 of Barefoot, he's going to be coming down to pit road as these guys go by our leader there, Scott, who drops onto the apron. I think he's going down pit road this time. So looks like 55, they're on 55 going to come down. So most likely that's about as far as you're going to make it on fuel after taking that green there on lap 29.
Yeah, so if that's the case, you're looking at, what is that, about 30 laps, 30-ish laps? But anyway, with him being able to push it that long this run, if he can do that the next run, then I think definitely that last pit stop, you don't fill that thing up to 60%. Because I think around here, you burn about probably about half a gallon for one lap. So if you're able to not have to put 5, 6, 7 laps into it, that's a good bit of gallons you can save.
And Zach Scott did what I thought. He literally took tires. So I think here he's going to try to stretch this as far as possible and take the least amount of fuel here, Brian. So I think that's the call. Yeah, for sure. He's got to make. We'll see how it plays out for him. It's going to definitely make this race a little more intense, I think, for us.
Well, yeah, so you got Zach Scott. He's at one end of the spectrum with strategy. I think he's being, kind of more of the aggressive style, taking those tires at the competition caution and then taking them now. And then Rob's kind of on the other side of the spectrum where he took it easy in the first part of the race and now he's pushing. So, those strategies are almost kind of the opposite of each other. It kind of depends on when you're being aggressive with it and when you're saving.
Yeah, you can see, look at this now, as you got Rob Lowell going into turn 3. He's got a 14-second gap almost back to Zach Scott. Scott is going to make up a huge amount of ground. Then you can see Rob Lowell, I think, come in anywhere early from 73 to 74 there on that last stop. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. But he's got a set of tires left too. I think this very well could be very close once these guys all come out of pit road. We'll just have to see once it all shakes out.
Yeah, it's going to be close, but I think in that scenario, Rob definitely does have the hand up on Zach, having that set of tires that Zach has already used. So, depending on how much Zach Scott can catch up to him this run, and depending on how much time extra it takes to put on a set of tires as opposed to just filling up with fuel, you know, it's going to be hard to tell how close Zach Scott is going to be to Rob Lowell, if he's going to be behind him, ahead of him, or come out side by side. So, that's it's one of the things about these 802 races is that this strategy always keeps us on our toes.
Well, I tell you, Scott is also saving a lot. Keith Fallen drives by him there, and Keith Fallen, he pits on the same lap as Scott. But the big thing for Keith Fallen is he's still got a set of tires left on the 24. He's actually driving by Barker now for the 5th position, and he's going to be going into 3 at the moment as we speak. So it's about a corner ahead for Rob Lowell for him. But, Fallen still with the set of tires left for him. He's going to have a pretty big tire advantage here over Lowell for the next really 15 foreseeable laps. We'll see what time he can make up for that gap in that 24 machine.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Rob Lowell, last time he crossed the start-finish line, ran a 41.275, and then Keith Fallen ran a 39.737. So, pretty quicker right now. Keith Fallen is roughly about half a second. So, we'll have to see if that difference in pace can keep up, or if he starts kind of evening out on the times as he gets closer. But, at that rate, by the time Rob Lowell comes down pit road, Keith Fallen is going to be right there.
Another case I like for him, you can see that here's Rob Lowell. Look at that giant open space of gap there behind him. now 8 seconds here. Back to Art Greco in second. Once Fallen gets past Cato, which he's already doing now, and Lamaga next, he'll only have Art Greco, and then it's going to be about 8 seconds of clean air all the way up to that 21. If you're a driver that's trying to make up a gap with a fresher set of tires and run down that competition ahead of you, this is what you want to see. You do not want to see someone pretty close to that leader, because if you have to run 2 drivers down, once you get there, it's usually tougher to get around both of them. So he'll like to have now this clean air to be able to really work with to run that gap down.
Oh, that's sometimes better than, the best Christmas you ever had when you're trying to catch a guy. You got that tire advantage, and now you've got some clean track. I mean, 7.5 seconds of just clean open track trying to get that down. I mean, that's perfect case scenario for Keith Fallen.
And, I mean, if you look at this, right now, he's running a 40.0. If Rob Lowe continues at a 41.5 and starts to even drop farther than that, and they continue at about a 1.5 between these two, he will be there in less than 7 laps. I mean, that is mind-blowing to say, and that's possibly even before Rob Lowe pits. So it's going to be a battle, I think, for the win between this 24 and this 21 coming out to the end of this race.
Yeah, and I think, one of the deciding factors as to who is going to win this race is going to be how well Rob can keep Keith behind him. If he can hold him up for just a couple laps, I mean, that's 3 seconds he's potentially saving himself. So, every chance that he gets to kind of slow Keith down, he's going to want to take advantage of it.
Got this group battling. It's Zach Scott driving up into the picture. Remember, he's on a definite opposite strategy compared to these guys. He's going up to Lamaga now as he's got by Cato, as he's going to be driving by this group. That'll put him up to that 3rd position. But remember, he does not have a set of tires here. He's going to probably stretch it as far as anybody can. I would look for him to possibly take it to around lap 80, maybe even 82.
Yeah, I think, that's probably where he's going to pit. And then the thing about that is that if everybody else comes down pit road and he's still out there, and say, somebody comes out of pit road and loses control and causes a caution, then, he's got everybody trapped a lap down. So, that might be what he's hoping for as we get further into this race.
And that gap continues to close down as Keith Fallen just driving forward. It's a 40.10 actually for him that time by, and our leader Rob Lowell 41.60. So only 0.6 of a second difference. So it's definitely falling away from the 24. He can't push too hard here, Brian. He needs to pace himself here to have a chance to be able to drive up to that 21.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to be careful about yourself. You don't want to, psych yourself into really burning up everything you got trying to catch the guy, and then by the time you get to him, you don't have anything left. It's very, very easy to do. You have to be very disciplined. Instead of pushing 100% trying to close that gap down, you got to still only go about, 80, 85%. That way, once you get to him, you still have something left. Now down to 3.9 that time by, so still catching him, but his lap times are starting to slow off a little bit.
Yeah, what I've been doing a little bit of looking here at lap times. It seems like once you get to that 41.4 to 5 area, if you're good with your tires, you can keep it in that area for a good portion of your run. But then it does seem to drop after that a little bit after that. So we could see Lowell continue from that 41.70-80 there was last time to drop down possibly to a 41.8 to a 41.9, where Fallon might start to fall into his 41.5s. But if he just keeps making tenths up a lap, he will get closer and closer. And it's not about this run. It's about that next run there as a 41.20 compared to our leader up front, 41.78. So Lowell just pretty much almost matching lap times, running 2 back-to-back identical laps. That's what you like to see, Brian.
Oh, that's again, best case scenario. You can't really get much more consistent than that. So, and that's what we've seen out of Rob all season, is just being very methodical and consistent. Same with Keith Fallon and David Lamaga as well. Those are probably some of the most consistent guys and more predictable of all the guys out here on track tonight. But being consistent is one of the most important things, and it's brought them success.
As you're looking at this 24 continuing to close it down. This time it was a 41.71 to a 41.47. So 3.1 seconds is the difference between those two up front. But you look back here, Lamaga, looks like someone coming off the exit pit road. That might be Art Greco. Yes, it is in the one machine. Looks like he's made his stop, but I tell you, Brian, he's not going to make it to the end of this race from there.
He's got to make it about 33 laps, so that's really stretching it out. Not sure if he's going to be able to do that, if he's going to be able to save that much, but we've been proven wrong before many times at this league.
Oh, that we have, and we will continue to be done by that. You never know what somebody can do out there, and we'll see how it works out. The one's definitely going to have to stretch the fuel farther than anybody has all night long if he wants to be able to come down here and have a chance not to hit pit road coming down to the end of this race. But I tell you what, we got about 5 laps here before we head off into our pit stops here for the final time tonight before everything starts to transpire. We're going to head to our final commercial break of the night here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Don't go in anywhere if you don't want to miss this ending of this race. It's going to be on the edge of our seats.
4, 3, 2, 1, green screen. No layer grip whatsoever. Up sideways. Sideways everywhere. Come on, man. Do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
And we're back here, folks, as we've seen now Keith Fallen taking over the lead. As you see there, that's the 21 Lowell coming off of pit road, has now gotten his lap back, as that's going to be probably the battle for the win when it comes down to everything. But you see the 43 Zach Scott up ahead of Lowell. He's also one lap down, but he's behind him one lap down. So he's going to put technically one lap between him and the 43, and the strategy is going from bad to worse for the 43, who has not had a good really look at it here, Brian, since the taking that set of tires, really.
Yeah, you know, I thought he was sitting in a pretty decent seat until I realized that, you know, the guys ahead of him were running faster than him, you know, before this run, you know, they still had a set of tires. So that's always not a really good scenario to have yourself in when, you know, the guys you're racing that are on a different strategy are, you know, ahead of you and pulling away and have that extra set. So, you know, unfortunately, he's got to, you know, lay in the bed that he's made for himself. And, you know, never hurts to try a strategy out. You know, if he would have gotten a timely caution sometime, then, you know, he would have been sitting, you know, looking pretty good. But, you know, unfortunately, just kind of, you know, scratch that strategy out and try a different one next week. But definitely kudos for trying it. It could have worked.
Yeah, you do have to give him a pat on the back for trying it. Once again, a little bit of a different strategy, just not playing out for him there. Is up ahead of these guys. It's going to be that 13 of Wiley dropping back here as he's in that second position. Killenbeck, the driver in third, has hit pit road too. That pushes Lowell back up into the third position. Question is now when Fallen comes to pit road, well, my question has been answered because he's on it. Is same with the 13 of Wiley. So pretty much everybody now has made their pit stop here at lap 80.
Yeah, so for Keith Fallen, he's come down on lap 80. Gonna come out, and it's gonna be a 20-lap shootout. See where he comes out, whether it's in front or behind Rob. I imagine it'll be behind, as you know, he is gonna take that second set of tires. 13 makes it into his box, and he's gonna take those tires as well. So now we'll see, can Keith catch Rob and pass him like he did before? Well, really just catch him.
Yeah, yeah, really is see if he can do that for sure. As there's Killenbeck, he's back out on track in the 70 machine, but looks like Fallen coming off the exit of pit road now. Low going into the entry of 3. He is closer than he was the first time, I will say that much, and well, it'll be interesting to see because he wasn't able to run him down. He got close, but will he be close enough this time? Will the tire difference be enough? Because last time it was a little bit bigger of a tire difference. This time it's a little bit closer in the tire delta. We'll see how it works out, but here as they cross the line, it's 8 seconds for Fallen up to Low.
Yeah, it's 8 seconds this time by, and I wouldn't be surprised if that gap gets a little bit bigger because, like we said before, Keith Fallen's tires are cold right now. Rob Lowell's, his tires are already warm, so I wouldn't be surprised if that gap opens up maybe about a half a second more before Keith starts pulling him in.
To see as they going to be looking to come across the line here next time as Lowell crosses the line to complete lap 81. He's at a 40.241. Fallen now going to cross the line now at a 39 5.87. So fastest lap of the race there for Fallen. He opens up about a half a second there to that 21. Now 7.4 seconds up to the 21.
Yeah, Keith Holland said, "What cold tires? I can drive fast on those too." So, yeah, like the pace right now, but like you said, Zach, that tire delta is less than it was before, but it's less of a gap that he has to chase down. So, and the other thing for Keith is that, he's already practiced this exact scenario where it's clean track up ahead of him. He's got to run down Rob. He did it the last run, figured some things out. Okay, yeah, I pushed too hard and burned up my stuff and didn't have that, the tires there near the end of the run as he picks up another whole second that lap. So I think he's looking a little bit better this run than he was the last one.
Ooh, this is going to get spicy, folks, as we're watching this battle between Barefoot and Killenbeck. Those two actually not racing for position right now. Actually, it's going to be Marty Brown, that yellow car behind Barefoot in the 99, who's going to be the next car chasing Killenbeck there. But, yeah, Lowell going to have a lot of questions in his mind. We've seen how much he saves tire, though, Brian. I think he's got to be planning with this gap to be able to try to save something. We'll continue to see. I think that gap closed down is, again, another 1.1 seconds taken out by Keith Fallen. It's 5.2. He can't push too hard, though, Brian. If he goes out here and tries to really overwork those tires, it could be his downfall.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that is kind of crazy about these next-gen cars is just how much you can play with the pace and play with the tire wear. Because, yeah, you're right. Rob could be out front right now, and he knows that Keith has got these fresher tires, and he's going to be pushing to try to get to him. So he could be backing off, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6/10 a lap just to save his tires and really kind of fool Keith into thinking that his tires are so much better than Rob's and really fooling him into push his tires and burn his stuff up. So by the time Keith catches him, he's just going to start, pulling away again.
It is crazy the mind games that play in racing, man, and sim racing brings that right into the factor. And the one thing I look at right here, I mean, the first 4 laps from Keith Fallen, all under a 36.09. The first 4 laps from Rob Lowell, he ran a 40.10, a 40.12, a 39.82, and then his fastest lap of the run so far, a 39.76. So definitely major differences in how they're driving this early portion of the run. This time 39.81 for Fallen, but it was a 41.20 or 2.06 for Lowell as the gap's down to 2.5 seconds. I think he's playing a little bit of cat and mouse here to Brian, no doubt.
Yeah, and I really like the mind games that you can play in racing. It's at least when you're the one playing them, when it's your rules and you're the one that's playing the games and not being on the receiving end of it, it's pretty fun. But when you're on the receiving end and trying to figure out what is that guy doing up there, it can be a little tricky. But at the same time, I mean, you could play some games of your own. It's it's such a complicated aspect of racing that is well used by some and not even used at all by others. Some guys are just like, I'm gonna run my pace and that's all I need. But seeing Keith right now, he's got Rob Lowell getting bigger and bigger and bigger in his windshield, and here in a couple laps, I think he's gonna be right on the bumper.
Yeah, if he's going to use these tires, he needs to use them now because he's getting within that range. You can't dilly-dally once you get here. You got to go around that machine up ahead and get that clean air. You put it in Rob's ball court to get back by you. I think that's going to be the play here from the 24 as he's continuing to close in. But I tell you what, Rob there, 41.48, the difference there, almost a second in lap time. It may be an easy pass unless he's been playing possum up here.
Yeah, and I've always been of the mindset of if you ever get the chance to get the clean air in the lead, you got to take it. As the run goes on and the tires wear out, it doesn't really matter how much you save these tires. Sometimes clean air is better than 2, 3, 4% better tire wear. So, if I'm Keith, like you said, Zach, gotta pass Rob as quick and efficiently as possible and put it on Rob to pass for the lead back over Keith to try to win this race.
This is going to be a fun battle, folks. Wait till you see how this plays out. Rob there, 41.48, and Keith, 41.16. So the drop-off is starting to happen as he's gotten closer. I mean, he literally drops off almost 7/10 in that one lap from just getting in the air of this 21 machine. We'll see now what type of games are being played, as they're going to be coming to 11 to go this time as the 24 continues to close that gap.
Yeah, but what I'm really looking for is Rob Lowell's lap times to start speeding up here. So he's, weaving back and forth on the front stretch, trying to break that little bit of draft that Keith does get. And, for Rob, running just half, well, not half a tenth, a tenth and a half slower than Keith. So, these times really starting to even out here as Keith gets closer and closer.
Going for 2 wins in a row. Keith falling to 24 within a car length now as they head off into 3 and 4. And as this battle back here is raging over between Lamaga and Wiley, Lamaga going around for 4th. I think that 24, he's going to be mounting something here coming to the line. Is this going to be 10 laps to go here at the 802 Cup Series? And we got a battle on our hands.
10-lap shootout, that's one of the favorite things I like to watch at the end of the race is, it's between these two guys. Everybody else is over 10 seconds back. So it doesn't really matter how hard these guys race or how much they slow each other down. It's going to be between these two guys as long as we stay green. So, but right now, Keith having a lot of trouble trying to figure out how to set up this pass on Rob. He's quite a bit quicker on entry, but you can't really make a pass there or try to set up a pass. So he's got to have a really good exit here coming out of 4, which he does, just ever so slightly quicker. But what can he do with it?
9 laps to go. Can he get it done here? It's going to be the 24 of Fallen looking to go back to back here. He's going to have a chance here, Brian. He's seen. I think there in 3 and 4 is going to be the place for it to happen. 1 and 2 a little bit harder to follow as the line is a little bit, I think, more strict on getting right to where they were at, but don't matter because he's got to run down the back straightaway. It looks like that run stops a little bit as the 24 actually pushes a little bit forward, possibly a little bit of a draft effect playing in here, but now the 24 looking for clean air here on the bottom instead of the top. It is looking like it's working. He's got a run coming out of 4. They're going to be coming to 8 to go. He had to back out of it a little bit there as now the 21 going to hold on to it, but with 8 laps to go, it's any man's game up front.
Yeah, I think right now Keith has really got to try different things. Try, running the outside, running the inside, seeing if it works. If it doesn't work, then you still have, a handful of laps to try to catch back up to him and try to pass him. But, I guess it's just the dirty air riding right behind Rob that's really giving him a lot of trouble.
I think Rob has saved a good little bit here for this action, and it's helping him here at this moment because he's able to really hold that bottom lane, Fallen able to run that top groove there. And the thing I've noticed, Brian, too, is when you get to somebody, you got to make it happen soon because riding behind him, it just seems like the tire temp builds up, and then when the tire temp builds up, you build that air pressure, and you just can never seem to get around that person up ahead of you. Fallen has seemed to hit that brick wall here. He's going to have to try to break through as he's trying different lines, you can see.
Yeah, Zach, you're right. When you're catching somebody like Keith has been catching Rob for the past few laps, you really got a time limit of about 3 laps. After 3 laps, those tires really start, kind of overheating compared to the guy ahead of you. So, if you can't make it happen in 3 laps, it's so much harder trying to pass the guy. And, that's what we're seeing right now. But, yeah, you brought up another good point with Rob. I think he's saved his tires, and now he's just starting to push to stay ahead of Keith. And it's really working out for him.
Like what Fallen's doing there. He's looking to the inside. Look at that. And Lowell saw that. He overdrove the center of the corner. It washes him up the racetrack. This is going to be his chance here. The 24 side by side down the back straightaway. A little bit of side draft here. It's going to allow that 24 to pull dead even here. So they're going to be entering 3 side by side with 6 to go, coming to 5 to go here as they head into 3 and 4. The 21 way up the racetrack. He's going to really drive it off in there. He feels confident about that top side, but it's the 24 on the bottom as they come to the line. It's going to be the 21 with the big run off the top.
Yeah, 24's got to go up there and side draft him, and it doesn't quite get it done. Now he's going to have to try to get back to the 21's inside again, if that's what he wants to do. I think if he can somehow manage to get to the outside of Rob, that's going to be the place to do it.
I think that'll definitely give him a little bit of an upper hand for sure, but it looks like that 21 able to really drive it off in there on that top side and was able to make that happen. I thought when he washed up that far, it was a given for the 24 to go by, but he just couldn't get the run like he needed. They're going to be coming to 4 to go. Fallen going to have to set something back up, but that may have been his best chance at it there. He'll see here in this final 4. Does he have anything to set it up with?
Yeah, I think he's got one more shot to try to set up and complete a pass. Just because of how big these corners are and how well Rob's able to make that high lane work. He's really going to only have one more shot here as he closes up to the bumper on the exit of 2. And 24 right there. Keith had a really good exit right there, but just not enough to set something up for 3 and 4.
Yeah, you can see here, following in the tracks at 21, but he's able to get to the gas so much sooner here. They're going to be coming to 3 to go this time by here. The 24 Fallen trying his best to get past this 21 low. It's been these two have been the class of the season. Winner at Atlanta in first, winner at Bristol in second. It's going to be the race here to see who gets race win number 2 with 3 to go.
And just a little bit of side note, while these two guys have been racing each other, they're still pulling away from everybody else. The gap back to third, up to 12 seconds now. So these guys definitely the fastest on track right now. And so, that kind of gives you a little bit of perspective of just how hard these guys are pushing, trying to win this race. But unfortunately for Keith, coming to 2 to go, time's running out for him.
TikTok time is running out, Brian, that's for sure. Here with 2 laps to go. He's going to have to do some type of charge here. Looks again to that lower side. That's where he kind of spooked the 21 up to miss the groove there out of 1 and 2 last time, but did not do it this time. Rob Lowe looking to be a brick house here and hold on to this win here as he was saving the tires up front while the 24 ran him down from 8 seconds back. It's coming down to this, though, with 2 laps to go for the penultimate time to head through 3 and 4. The 21 up the racetrack a little bit. They look up to the flag stand. They're going to see Barney waiting and ready as they come and cross the line. It's going to be the freaky fast white flag. It's 1 to go here in the Irish Spring Hills of Michigan. Who's going to get it done? The 24 to the 21 looking for race win number 2 for both. The 21 way up the racetrack here. He's up in the marbles. That may do it here as the 24 big run. He's going to clear him off a 2, and there he goes, falling to the lead down the back stretch.
Unbelievable. 2 corners left for Rob, and he messes up the first one, but does Rob have anything to say about it in 3 and 4? He's going to send it way deep in there, but it's just not going to be enough as Keith Fallen takes advantage of Rob's mistake in 1 and 2, and he is going to be your leader coming out of 4.
What a job by the 24. Runs him down from 8 seconds back, and race win number 2 is 2 in a row for the 24. Keith Fallen, Michigan, and Bristol in his back pocket. What a move. And I tell you what, the 21's going to be kicking himself after that. Brian just missed the groove there in 1 and 2. He pretty much had that thing locked up. And, man, I tell you, I think he was looking in the mirror, seeing that 24 going low like that. I think he thinks the 24 was going to try some type of move. So, it can make you just looking up in that mirror miss that groove just that little bit.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for Rob because he had pretty much a perfect race going for him, but that's just how how important it is to try to be as perfect as possible and not make any mistakes, because that was the only mistake he made the whole race, and that's what cost him the win.
What a barn burner up front that was, folks. That was so fun to watch there. These 24 and that 21 coming down all the way to the end. Also got to give a shout out to Gene Cato there in that top 3 there pulling it home. We're going to have our post-race interviews here as the 24 burns it down on the front straightaway here at the Irish Spring Hills in Michigan. What a job by him. We'll head to a quick break here to get our top 3 up here in the booth, and then we'll have a chat with them. Don't go anywhere, folks. All right, we're back here, folks, as we got our top 3 drivers here tonight from Michigan International Speedway. What a wild battle it was there down to the end. The guy who brought it home in the 3rd position there, though, it was Gene Cato in that 8 machine. Great finish to the night for him here at Michigan, and we'll get a chat with him before we talk to our top 2. Hey, Gene, it's Zach up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, man, I tell you what, it's going great up here. Just got to watch a great race between you guys out there. But, man, what a great top 3 for yourself. How does it feel to come out of Michigan here with a top 3, man?
Dude, it feels good. I like to been up there battling with the 1 and 2, but I'll take a 3.
Hey, Gene, it's Brian in the booth, and next week we got an off week because of Independence Day, but in 2 weeks we're gonna come back and gonna be at Pocono, so another big track. A little bit different than Michigan with the 3 corners, but how are you feeling about Pocono in this next gen car?
Oh, I can't wait. I like Pocono. It's a good track. It's a driver's track.
Definitely is there, Gene. I tell you what, man, it's going to be fun to see that when we come back in 2 weeks there at Pocono. But congrats on 3rd, Gene. Before we let you get out of here, man, and go get ready for your off week here, anybody you want to send a shout out to, man?
Yeah, give a shout out to Wolfpack Racing 802 Cup Series, Rob, John, the Wolfpack gang, and you guys. Y'all doing an awesome broadcast job.
Well, thank you very much, Gene. Congrats, like I said, man, on 3rd, and we will catch you in 2 weeks, bud.
All right, appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
All right, everybody. That was your 3rd place driver there tonight, the 8 machine of Gene Cato. What a job by him to bring him in 3rd there. And now we're going to talk to his teammate in the 21 machine, the driver who come up leading the white flag and just came up a little bit short here. Going to finish 2nd after winning Atlanta. It was looking to be possibly his 2nd win of the season, just come up a little bit short. But let's hear from Rob Lowe in the 21 machine. Hey, Rob, it's Zach up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Hey, guys. Yeah.
Hey, man, well, I tell you what, excellent way to race tonight, man. That was an awesome battle between you and Keith there. But I tell you what, it's got to be a little bit bittersweet with how great a race that was because of that last lap, man. Take us through it there because that had to be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, so original plan, start of the race, was to go easy on that first set of tires. And then I said, no, I'm going to race the rest of these guys. And I went like 6-7 laps, and I looked up and like half the field was dropping like 42, 43 lap times. I went, uh-oh. So I got into tire conserve mode real quick once I saw that. And then plan was, no tires at the comp. I knew what the fuel window was, pit as soon as that opened, so I can make it on one more stop. I didn't go hard that when I took the tires the first, lap 46, I came out, I went like a 40.2, 40.3. That was my goal, just to save tires. And Keith came out like 7 laps after me and started taking big chunks out of my lead. I just kept managing the gap. And I said, okay, when he gets like lap 6, lap 7, it's going to start to flatten out. And then it started flattening out, and he never got to me. So I'm like, okay, he went 7 laps longer than me. I know I'm pitting in lap 74, and that puts him pitting in lap 81. So I'll go in at 74, and I'll go hard those 7 laps to build up a bigger cushion, and I should be okay. And he tricked me. He went like 3 laps after I did and came in, and then it was game on. We had to race, and I had like a 6-second lead, so I tried to manage that, give him, get him to go hard and kind of save what I had until he got to me. And I did, and then I kind of teased him down on below me a couple of times and tried to get him to burn up his stuff on the bottom. I pinned him down there for a lap and down in 1 and 2 and get him to, get loose up off. Did it once down 3 and 4. And last lap, I just overdrove one. I got in there and slid the nose, and I went, oh, that just cost me the race. He did what he had to do. It was a blast. My hands are sweating at the end, but great race. I hope it was good for everyone to watch. And hey, I'll take a 2nd place.
Hey, Rob, it's Brian in the booth, and we definitely did have a blast watching those last 10 laps there. But, looking to 2 weeks from now, going to Pocono, you're kind of the guy that we know as, kind of the tire super saver. And at Pocono, that really pays off. So how do you think Pocono is going to go for you?
I don't know. I've never gone good at Pocono. That's just not my track. Actually, I think Keith probably does a better job than I do in saving stuff. He had more there at the end than I did, so we'll see. Dave Lamaga is gonna be really tough at Pocono. Him and Mike Gillenbeck. If Al Reed pops in for that race, Al will be fast. Those three guys previous seasons have owned that place, so Pocono is probably my weak point.
Well, I tell you what, man, through the first three, you've definitely looked, or sorry, through the first four races, you definitely looked very, very strong for sure, Rob. So we'll expect to see what you can do at Pocono, man. No, definitely, you might be thinking it might not work out for you, but we think you'll be right back in it. But we'll see how that plays out, man. But before we let you get out of here and go get ready for, your off week and then heading into Pocono, anybody want to send a shout out for your second place finisher tonight, Rob?
Yeah, I just want to thank my team and my sponsors. I want to get a chance to tell them that's watching. 802 Cup Series is recruiting. We are open in iRacing for recruiting. So if anyone wants to apply. We'll look at your stats. We're going to run some recruitment races the next 2 weeks, trying to get the car count up. Last week was Father's Day. We had some guys that were off doing things with the family, and we got 4 or 5 guys this week that are gone on a long, 10, 11-day vacation for July 4th. So hopefully 2 weeks we come back and we'll be back up to 20, 25 cars, and you guys will have a better show to watch.
Well, I tell you what, Rob, it was fun here tonight, man. At Michigan, congrats on second, and we'll catch you back out here in 2 weeks at Pocono.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You too, man. All right, everybody. That was our second place driver here tonight. Oh, Rob Lowell. What a drive for him there, as just gave it up on the last lap to this man. 2 in a row. It's Keith falling into 24. Let's hear from him. Man, what a drive again from this guy. Hey, Keith, it's Zach up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Well, man, 2 in a row. I tell you what, winning last week at Bristol, that had to feel good. But how's it feel to come back here in Michigan, make the last lap pass to get that victory? And man, that was hard fought for sure.
Oh yeah, it feels awesome. Michigan's really not one of my best tracks, and I got to give it up to Rob. He put up a fight, and I kept noticing him overdriving turn 1 little by little. So I was just trying to fill his mirror up as much as possible to see if he can make that mistake, and he actually made it. So I was able to take advantage of it.
Hey Keith, it's Brian in the booth, and we saw you, 2 runs back to back where you were, several seconds behind Rob, but had that tire advantage and was able to kind of take chunks out of that lead at some points. But that last run, when you're taking, seconds out some laps, and then as you got closer and closer and got to his back bumper, just didn't quite have the pace that you did before. And was that a case of, the dirty air kind of having a factor into that, or was it just the tires are kind of well worn at that point?
I think it was a combination of both. I was after that last pit stop, I was pushing as hard as I could. I think I ran the fastest lap of the race during that. Yeah, but knew I was catching them. I was catching them. When I caught them, I knew my tires would have been shot by then, and it's really hard to pass on old tires on this track. I was trying to downshift to 4th gear and getting a run off, see if that would work. And I literally tried everything I could, and I'm just glad he made that mistake.
It definitely was a big mistake for sure, but you capitalized, keep putting yourself there, man. So congrats on that win here tonight, 2 in a row. And we got the off week here for 4th of July coming up, but then we come back to the Tricky Triangle there at Pocono. How do you feel about that tricky track?
Pocono is not one of my best, so I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of practice. I'm glad we got that 1 week break in between the race, so I'm going to be hitting the track up a lot to get a little bit better. I want to get a little bit better on the long run. I think that's probably my weakest point at that track. So we'll have to see how it goes.
Gonna be fun to see in 2 weeks, Keith. Well, I tell you what, man, congrats on the win here tonight. But before we let you get out of here, anybody you want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, first off, I want to give a huge shout out to my dad. He went down to a state competition and finished 3rd, and actually qualified for the 5th time for the state national championship down in Dallas Fort Worth, Texas. So congratulations to you, Dad. Want to get a shout out to Skip Pinnell. This paint scheme was a scheme my dad designed and Skip Pinnell drove back in the early 90s in a late model. So huge shout out to Skip. I want to give another shout out to my mom and my wife. Love y'all, and we'll see how we do at Pocono.
Awesome stuff, Keith, man. Well, I'll tell you what, again, congrats. Go celebrate this thing, man, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks, Keith.
All right. Appreciate the broadcast as usual.
Thank you. Alrighty, guys, that was our race winner there tonight in the 24 machine of Keith Fallen. What a job by him there to win race number 2 of only 4 races into the season. I mean, he's won half of them now at this point. He's going to head into the off week with a big smile on his face here as we head into that 4th of July week. But we're going to go ahead and pull up our race results here to show you where your drivers finished out tonight, as we had Keith Fallen taking home that victory here at the 802 Cup Series. It was Rob Lowell trying to go for race win number 2 for him. Just comes up short, missing the corner there on the last lap. Brings it home second. Third is going to be Gene Cato. Fourth is going to go to Jason Wiley. Fifth is going to be David Lamaga. Sixth is going to be Johnny Parker. Seventh is going to be Mike Killenbeck. Eighth going to go to Marty Brown. Ninth is going to be Art Greco. 10th is going to go to Jeff Barefoot. And the last 2 drivers in the field, Zach Scott and Wayne Dewey, running it out for our 11th and 12th driver. Well, what a night here, Brian. It was a fun night racing here in Michigan. But we head off to Pocono next, man. That's kind of as people would say, a sister track. It's stuff that works here usually works pretty well there. We'll see if these drivers can carry it there, man. But what are your final thoughts on the night and before we head off into Pocono?
Man, not only is the strategy keeping us guessing up here, but you can't even count on what's going to happen on the last lap. We thought Keith had nothing for Rob, and I think without Rob making that mistake, Keith may not have gotten around him. But coming to the white flag, looked like Rob was going to finish first and Keith was going to finish second. But that's the great thing about racing, is that you never know what's going to happen. One little thing can really shake things up. But yeah, Pocono, it's going to be interesting this time around, because with this new car, we've seen where Keith was talking about it earlier, where he was trying to downshift into fourth. So used to, Pocono was the only oval track that we were shifting at with these A cars, these Cup cars. But now we shift everywhere. So it'll be interesting to see, is it all 3 corners that we're shifting at? What do we shift down to? Are we going down in a third, in turn 1? So that's going to be something that we're going to have to, take a look at and see what everybody's doing differently, because depending on what gear you take all those corners in can really affect fuel mileage and tire wear.
It's going to be fun to find out for sure, Brian, there at Pocono, the Tricky Triangle. So make sure you tune back in, folks, for that on Sunday night. But again, that will be next Sunday night, as we're going to be joining our week off here for 4th of July. And I hope all y'all out there enjoy that as also. But we'll be back in 2 weeks here with the 802 Cup Series at the Pocono Speedway or Raceway. As tonight's been action here at Michigan has been fun to call, but we got more of action here throughout the week at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night, as we got the Race Car Graveyard Truck Series season finale. And that's the Freaky Fast finale too there, as we're going to crown a champion, a new one at that there for their truck series. And that's going to be fun to see. So make sure you tune in there at 8:50 Eastern tomorrow night on Monday Night Racing here at Freaky Fast Broadcast. But thank you all for tuning in here tonight. It's been a pleasure to call all the action. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you can be notified each and every time we go live, and you get to hear all the action from Freaky Fast Broadcast. But again, thank you all for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Stay freaky fast.